we would like to introduce our amazing group of panelists. We have Elisa Walk, who's the general manager of Burton Snowboards. We have Holly Nichols, who's a fashion illustrator and owner of H. Nichols Illustration. And we also have Oscar Moore, account executive at Scalar. Please give them a round of applause for coming up to speak. So the topic of discussion tonight is preparing for the future. So to begin, in order to learn more about our panelists, we would like to know, what's your why? So in other words, why do you do what you do? Anyone can start.
I think as I've grown in life, my why has evolved. I guess there's two parts of it. The first part is that I have a wife and I have a son, and they really have become my why of why I get up every day, why I work hard, and why I strive for the things that I want to accomplish. So that's the biggest motivating factor in my life is my family. But also, ultimately, you know, ever since I was a child, I always had something in me that told me I could do more, that I could achieve something outside of what's ordinary, and that pushes me every day as well.
So my why, I always wanted to be an artist when I was a young girl, and I kind of went through college thinking it might not be possible just because it's hard to make a living as a full-time artist. And when I graduated, I decided there was nothing stopping me from doing so. So I just decided to do it, and I made it work. And I get to interact with other artists, so having a community of artists behind me and sharing struggles, inspirations is why I keep doing it.
Those are really good ones, and you know, as panelists were given these questions ahead of time, and I came up with a lot of different whys, and I really kind of struggled with narrowing it down. So I'm very impressed with how you guys did that. For me, a big part of my why is why I kind of get up every day, why I've chosen my career path that I've chosen is so that I can see the world. Travel has changed me. It's changed my perspective on people, in places, on compassion. And so I have chosen a career that's given me that opportunity to not just travel, but be able to touch a lot of people. Thank you guys.
We also know that taking risks is often important when it comes to your career path. So we want to know, what are some risks you have taken in your career that have gotten you to where you are today?
I would say to date, the biggest risk I took when I was graduating from school, I had the opportunity to either work for a corporation or start my own business. And at the time, I had just had a baby. I had student loans that were about to come up, and I had signed a contract with the corporation to work there. But I was in an entrepreneurship class with Deirdre, who's out in the back, and we had to start a business. And ultimately, the business that we started, we decided to move forward with it. So the biggest risk I took was turning away the corporate job that had, a salary and stock options and healthcare and all that, to starting a business that was just an idea and three guys that thought they could do it.
So my risk was, when I graduated, I went into education. I was working with kids out of Albany. And it was secure for me because it was a full-time job. I had benefits, but I still really wanted to be doing my artwork. So ultimately, I just decided to risk it while I was still young. And I think doing it at that time is what kind of just propelled me to keep doing it. I didn't really have to think about too much at the time. So I just did it, and I figured I'm going to backtrack and fill in all the support after I kind of solidified what I wanted to do. So I think just kind of almost not thinking about it, but thinking about it in a strategic way is how I risked it, and I'm glad I did.
So for me, I took a pretty major risk in my career about 2.5 years ago. So my story, I'm born and raised in California. I went to college. I did my undergrad at USC, grad school at Pepperdine, and thought I'd live happily ever after in California. I got married, had kids, began my career there. I was head of operations for a telecommunications company. Left there, went to work in the bike industry where I was general manager for a company called Giant. Thought I'd stay there absolutely forever. And 7 years into running that company, I got a call from a recruiter who said, I've got this exciting opening out of Burton Snowboards in Vermont. How about if we talk? And I had met the founder at one point, a speaking engagement about 2 years earlier, and I had a ton of respect for her and thought, why not? Maybe I get to have this opportunity. Thanks, Lisa, for that inspiration. So I packed up everything. I packed up my entire life, and I didn't know a soul. And I moved to Vermont from Southern California, and traded in all my sandals for winter boots, and all my bicycles for snowboards. Traded my skis in for snowboards too. Had to give skiing up, and it was honestly the best thing I've ever done. So not only from a professional perspective, but taking that risk personally and making a change was the best thing I've done.
And now that we know a little bit more about each of our panelists, what are some suggestions or advice that you would give to current students to set themselves apart?
One thing that I think that I learned while I was in school is that you have to at some point go against the status quo to get anywhere special in life. And you have to step outside of what's known and what's certain and what's comfortable to achieve things that are meaningful and purposeful. So the best advice I could tell you, and as you see from our stories and the stories of people that you look up to, is that at some point, the path you're on, you're going to have to go towards the unknown and uncertainty, but you'll find that that's really where life is. That's where life happens. So that's it.
I think asking questions and sometimes finding the answers yourself. So if there's, or when I started, there was a brand that I really wanted to work for, and I asked everybody if they had PR contacts there. I was emailing people, sending emails to addresses that were coming back. I don't know if they were real email addresses or not. And then I just decided to send them a direct message on Instagram, and I never thought they were going to read it, and they did, and I've been able to work with them a few times now. So I think just kind of, even though it's scary, asking for things you don't always expect yeses from, but you send out, 8 inquiries, you might get one back, and it might be the one that's worth it.
I would say the best advice that I have, I guess I'd say it's a given that you need to work hard and have a good network and things like that. You guys probably all know that. The next step beyond that, though, I would say to really think about how you are presenting yourself. So I think mostly about the written word. I can't tell you how many people right now are coming out of college and can't write. Grammar, you guys are not, Yes, and it's not okay. Not okay in a professional environment if you want to be taken seriously. You need to know how to write, and you need to know how to communicate effectively. Maybe you don't need to be an expert public speaker, but you need to at least think about it. And you need to not crumble if you are asked to communicate and speak on something at work. But I would definitely encourage you to make sure you show up on all of your English classes.
Okay, so assuming that all the students in the room have taken your amazing advice, they get their dream job, how do they make themselves stand out within the company, and how do they make an impact on their organization? What's your biggest advice in that area?
Just say yes. Say yes to coming to a speaking engagement like this. Say yes to that extra project. Say yes to the internship. Say yes to working a few extra late hours. Okay. In this day and age, there are a few things to say no to. So hopefully you guys are smart enough to catch all of that. But do say yes to every opportunity that's available for you, because you just don't know which one of those is going to be like the magic door to take you to the place you want to go.
So I've actually only worked for myself, but my world is very much focused around social media. The work I do is very social media centric, and it's harder than ever to stand out on social media, especially as an artist. There's so many artists on social media. So for me, I kind of tried to develop my own style. It took me a long time, but I think once you kind of find your own style and your own voice, whether it be on social media or at your job, you kind of stand out in that way. You'll highlight your own skills.
I think the best thing you guys can do no matter what you decide to do, wherever you go to work, if you start a business, it doesn't matter. It's understand how business works, understand how value is created, understand how your role ties into that value, and then maximize whatever that is that you need to do to have that value, and you won't have any issues in life. You'll have all the opportunities that you want.
Because the world of work is constantly changing, what do you guys think is the biggest challenge facing leaders today?
So I just go back to the status quo. I think that as a leader that's trying to drive change and trying to lead people in a new direction, the biggest challenge they face is the status quo, the thing that everyone is used to, that we do daily, being afraid to change. So if you're a leader or just in your life, you just have to find ways to lead people in directions that are new and different, but show them that that's where the opportunities really lie.
I think being okay with change and not being resistant to it, and you kind of have to be a predictor of the future and be a step ahead of everything and kind of see where things are going to go. So you might see a trend that's happening, you might be ahead of that trend, and then someone will latch onto the work you're doing and see you as a visionary. And also staying true to yourself and being fair to yourself, because I know as a female business owner, people are often kind of quick to assume that they can, take advantage of me and push me further than I want to be pushed. So I've learned to say no to a lot of things, but also yes to the things that I know will bring value to the work that I'm doing.
I think the biggest challenge facing business today is globalization. It's a huge opportunity. Look at how many companies say like, oh, we're gonna grow sales, let's just start selling in China. There's a lot of people there. But working internationally is extremely difficult and it's very taxing on organizations. So whether it's communication, there's obvious language barriers, but you wouldn't believe the challenges of working with other time zones and some of the international travel, the toll it takes on your body. I feel like that is one of the biggest challenges because people think it's easy and it's not. You've got to tough as nails.
Thank you guys. At this time, we would like to open it up to audience questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand and someone will come by with a microphone so that the panelists can hear you.
Hi, thank you for speaking so much. I have a question. Many of us are doing internships, trying to get full-time jobs. If you guys take a look at a resume, is there anything that stands out to you, whether it's negative or positive, where you're like, I want to hire this person, I would never hire this person?
Well, at this moment at the company I'm at, we're hiring a lot of people. We're in a high growth mode too. I think since I've been there, my office, we started with 2 people, and now there's probably 12 people, probably even further. But I do have the opportunity to help out in interviewing, and to be completely honest, I don't ever really look at resumes. I usually, my real goal is just to find out what type of person this is. Can I trust them? Do they have a greater mission in life? Are they looking to accomplish something beyond scaling? And those are the type of people that I usually gravitate towards. But I know that's not too helpful to you, but you guys probably have it.
I couldn't agree more. I don't think hiring managers read resumes, but you have to make them pop. So whether it's your formatting, a good presentation of it, and a very good introductory paragraph, that's kind of all we see. And maybe the companies you work for, and that's kind of.
And again, the work that I do is very different from before I even look at someone's resume and look at their Instagram. And because mostly I'm looking for an artist or someone that is able to help me with my social media. So I think I look for how they're presenting themselves on social media, how they're presenting their artwork on social media. Hopefully it's positive. So that's kind of where I look first.
One thing I like to share that goes beyond a resume. So when you guys put your resumes out there to the companies that you want to work for, don't let that be the only touch point. Find people that are in that company, that are in the roles that you want, that are the managers of those roles. Find them on LinkedIn. It's a world that we can easily get connected with anybody. Reach out to them, talk to them. Hey, I've seen your company, and I've seen you're in the news, you do X, Y, Z. I applied. I'd love to learn kind of what you guys are looking for in employment, and take that route.
I was just wondering, what are your guys' thoughts on how our generation can help combat gender inequality?
I just say choose the company you work for carefully, because there's a lot of companies that are absolutely unequivocally committed to equality. That's where you want to work. Don't work for those other people. It's not worth it. Because there's probably other baggage under the hood too. If they're not going to pay you fairly, there's probably more going on in that organization.
So I don't have any experience with that. At my company that I started, I think we might have hired more women than men, but for you, what I would say is that if you focus on developing yourself and the things that you're trying to grow in, wherever you go work, if you're able to show them, that you have the value, you'll be able to write your own ship. 'Cause no matter what, there's employees out there that are looking for good people, whether you're female or male, doesn't matter.
I also have kind of a unique experience in that because I am self-employed, but I've been fortunate enough to have an agency that is also mostly women, and I'm able to kind of say what I feel my services are worth, and they're very supportive in offering or requesting that. And usually the client that we're working with, if they value your work, they're willing to give you what you're asking for.
Characteristic you look for higher instead of using
Oh,
Great.
What was the one characteristic you look forward to seeing in a new hire or a new employee?
I'm always in the search for people that are on a mission, that have something burning inside them, that's telling them that they can accomplish something. I'm not necessarily thinking that you should know what you want to do in life, but whatever that is, you should be in a hurry to get there, excited and motivated. And that kind of just shines through, through conversations. But that's usually what I look for whenever I'm interviewing someone. Just, is this person, serious about their life and what they're looking to accomplish? And if so, I want to help them in any way possible, and I can trust that if I brought them on, they'll be just fine.
I like to see enthusiasm and that they're doing more than what's asked of them, and kind of that they're pushing the boundaries and thinking outside the box. I'm usually looking for creative people, so I find that often.
I would just tend to say someone who is very relatable, because when you fast forward, 6 months, 12 months, you're going to have pressures together, you're going to have conflict, you're going to disagree, and you want to hire someone that you can have those conversations with and know that you can be honest with, and you have that ability to have the communication at the point of the interview.
I have a question. So for the underclassmen, the royal freshmen and sophomores who might not yet be looking for a full-time job, what kind of advice do you have for things that they should be doing now to prepare for that future?
I would say try different things. So I was an Endicott student, and I went through the internship program, and I did a whole lot of internships, some that I didn't think I was going to like, and some I ended up liking better than the ones I thought I was going to like. And using the internship program helped me identify that I wanted to do the thing I didn't think I was going to do. and it's really useful that you're going through that now, so you can kind of identify what you want to do once you graduate. And it helps you build contacts and lets you dip your toes in the water a little bit. So trying different things as an undergraduate.
Yeah, I just added, I would agree, I just added that to say, just get involved. Doing events like this is fantastic. I've never done anything but amazing about this event, so this is a perfect venue to get involved, to ask questions, to meet business leaders.
I would say there's one thing that you should do that's very important. When I was at Endicott, when I was during my graduate year, I started going to these events because myself and my co-founder, we were working for the Center of Entrepreneurship, and we were trying to meet entrepreneurs and get them to come back to Endicott and talk to the students. And as we were going to these events in Boston, we were really just going there to meet people and to hopefully get them to come help us at Endicott. But what happened was we would meet someone and they would say, "Oh, you guys, young guys coming from college, we have these great opportunities for people like you. Would you want a job?" And at that time, I noticed, whoa, like if I was going to these events since I was a freshman, by the time I graduated, I'd have an abundance of opportunities. And that's what led me to start the networking club here. So the one thing I'd say to do is go out into the world and meet as many people as possible. There's really nothing more important than relationships. And what you'll find is that all the opportunities they're hidden from the people who don't have relationships. But if you have relationships, and I remember my grandmother used to always say, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. Those are the people that are constantly being lifted and brought into new opportunities, through those connections that they have. So start building that.
We have like 5 more minutes for questions, so if you have a question.
Can you talk a little bit about the importance of mentorship in your careers and how you found your mentors?
Okay, I don't have a mentor, I wish I did. I had a boss who was the leader of the organization I worked in before. He was probably my mentor, but he was also my boss, and so that's kind of the nature of it. But I can say I do now mentor several people, and I have over the course of the last 5 to 6 years. And as encouragement for a mentee, coming into that relationship prepared and active and having questions and being engaged in that relationship, it enables the mentor to learn just as much as the mentee. And I now have a lot of long-standing relationships with other mentees that I work with.
Yeah, I would say I have a lot of different people who help me and have helped me in my life. Not just people that I know personally, but people that I read about in books, their lives and the things that they learned. But the importance of it is this. I'm mentoring a student here named Zach Weiss, and Zach wants to be a play-by-play announcer for the NBA. So we decided to have him go out and interview every play-by-play announcer at every NBA team in the United States. And he went out and did it. And now he has a network of all the people that you would ever want if you wanted to be a play-by-play announcer. He knows them all, talk to them. So the importance of a mentor is that you get connected to someone who has experience, who's been out there and who knows what it takes to open doors for you. And that's what happened for Zach when he met me and we came up with that idea. So mentorship is important. It's really just getting access to knowledge that may be hidden from you.
I stayed in touch with a lot of my college professors here, and even 5 years later, still like to help. But I've also learned a lot from the different students I've worked with here as well. They kind of keep me fresh and keep me in the know, and so it's like kind of a mutual partnership. And I like working with other artists too, so it just keeps the feel of inspiration going.
We have time for like 1 more question.
If you guys had the, sorry, that was loud. If you guys had the opportunity to go back in time and sit down with yourself at the age of 21, 22, during the transition from graduating to entering the professional world, what's the one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I think I would tell myself to focus on what matters to you. You know, you have all these people in your life, your parents, your friends, the world telling you who you should be and what you should do. But ultimately, there's a voice inside that's telling you what you really want. And if you focus on that, you start focusing on that sooner than later, eventually that voice will evolve and you'll be doing what you want to do and you'll be making money and you'll be having fun doing it. And it will happen a lot faster if you just focus on that now and not wait until you end up in a job that you don't like or a situation you don't like because you're listening to people outside of yourself.
I would have told myself to go back and take a business class. I was a studio art major, and it is very easy for me to be an artist, and I had to learn how to be a business person, and I'm still learning. So I would have kind of gone back and learned that too from a way of thinking. And maybe on the flip side, if you are a business person, you can go back and take an art class.
I would say to build your network. I kind of described I've had 3 major steps in my career. One was just straight out of college, didn't know anybody. But my next 2 career steps were really high impact, and they were both because of somebody that I knew that connected me into that organization. Not just that, I could list off 50 examples of an initiative, a project, an opportunity that was directly because of somebody that I was connected with, and I really worked to foster that relationship. So the power of your network, I'm sure you've heard it before, but you just can't underestimate how impactful that can be to your future.
And for networking, you're in the right place. Thank you so much to our panelists. Really appreciate